everybody. It's another episode of Talking with Topher. This is episode 263. It is April 17th, 2025, and I'm so happy to be here, high and alive. All right, everybody, it is a 420 episode. I got some stuff I need to get into, but before I do any of that, let me start off the way I always do by saying thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you for a great 5 years, and hopefully one day this thing will get monetized. So spread it around and keep subscribing. If you're new, remember to subscribe. You want an opportunity to be on the podcast, tell your story. Well, you guys send an email out, that's right, to the official email of the podcast in an audio, video, or type it out, all right? And the Linktree link, it's in the description below the video, along with all links discussed in today's episode. And now with all that out of the way, let's get into it. All right, so I had to give myself some time. I had to take a little bit of time off. Luckily, I pre-record enough episodes. But it was a really, really hard week, It was a really, really hard week. I am excited for, what spring brings. I'm just tired of the rain and wind. 420 is, a lot of fun for a lot of people out there. And it seems to be getting even more fun with the legalization of everything. And I just wish New Hampshire would finally get on board, but they turned it down again, everybody. Turned it down again. But so New Hampshire will not have legal marijuana or decriminalize psilocybin mushrooms like the rest of everybody around us, which makes no sense. Why are we smack dab in the middle of like four states that surround us? This live free or die thing is just an expression on our license plate. I truthfully believe that's all it is today. But let's get into the rough things. So I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I'll go over it very quickly. Barry, who was my youngest lab, born in 2015, he hurt himself on March 10th or 11th. And we weren't sure what happened. Luckily, I have video in the backyard stuff, so we were capable of putting a small story together. It looks like I let him out. I do believe it was the 11th. I let him out at 5:05 or like 4:45, right around there. And then I searched through the footage of the camera at 5:06 in the backyard. There were 2 rabbits. It was snowing. There was still ice on the grass. So it looks like he chased a rabbit, slipped, and hurt himself. Now, that would be fine, normal, but he was 10 years old. I did not realize, because when I looked up the life expectancy of my labs, I looked it up by Archer's weight and size. So he is a 55-pound lab, and it says that they live 12 to 14 years. So when this all happened, I was completely and absolutely shocked that on the 11th he hurt himself, and by that Sunday, which I do believe was the 23rd, he was no longer with us. It was one of the most difficult things I've ever dealt with in my life. I did not know I had these feelings deep down inside of me for that dog. It completely and absolutely destroyed me. And then I put out a post saying that, he was gone too soon. Because it took me over a day to put out a post about him, because I just didn't know what to say, because I felt like the world would be like, oh, it's just a dog, blah, blah, blah. You just read all these negative comments, so you're like, I don't know if I should post anything, because it's just probably going to be negative shit. Well, it turned out to be the opposite, everybody. I worded it in a way that explained why I felt the way I felt. I just said that, he was gone too soon. I thought he was supposed to live 12 to 14 years. I really did. and everybody was very positive. People who had kids, they felt the same way about their pets. We have a lot of love for these animals. The people that actually take care of them and love them, we have a lot of love for them. So when they're taken from us or they perish on time, it's devastating. It's sad. The house feels a little bit more empty now. The things that used to annoy me are the things that I miss the most, which I was really surprised about. I got a little bit more time back in my morning, and I wish that he was still sitting in the kitchen refusing to eat. He just came home the other day. My wife went and picked him up from the company that took care of him. Hold on a second. We had to go to the Manchester emergency vet. I picked him up, and my wife was like, this isn't good. We have been preparing for a couple days for this, and he waited until we were both home, we believe. Because we don't have the same day off anymore. Everything is a little bit more difficult for us these days, which is fine. We're making do. But we were really worried that she was either going to have to do it by herself or I was going to have to do it by myself. And the way it all worked out was it seemed like he waited for us to both be home at the same time. Her friend Laura came over, and I get back from shopping. He's not doing good at all. I pick him up. I freak out because of the amount of weight that he doesn't weigh anymore. Really freaky. So we get him in the back of the car. We drive to the emergency room. We're sitting there in the parking space, and I call. And the lady's like, you didn't fill out the rest of the email. Could you fill that out? We can't do anything until you fill it out. So I'm holding my dog in the back seat. My wife is next to me. We're both petting him. We're both sobbing. Laura's in the front seat, and I'm trying to fill out an email and make a phone call and get this all situated. It's chaos in the back seat. Chaos. Like, you don't realize, like, how much everything feels like too much when you're dealing with this type of situation. I'm like, do I really have to fill this out? Can't you just, you know what I mean? And they're like, no, we can't even bring them in. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, my God, this is just so crazy right now. So I finish the email. I give it a couple minutes. We're petting Barry. Of course, I'm really trying to break the ice here and make jokes. And, the euthanization is $250. The cremation, stuff like that, I think was like $308. So it was going to be like $558. I think they give you a deal on both, whatever, $400 or something. And I'm like, okay. And I reach down, and Barry is fading away. He's fading away at this time. And I just look down at him, and I look over at my wife, and we're both crying and sobbing. And I just pet him, and I go, hey, buddy, can you do me one more favor before you go? Can you just go before they come out and get you so that we can save the $250, please? Can you be a good boy for me one last time? And it got a laugh because we all needed a laugh. Hey, look, I'm a cheap fuck like everybody else out there. If I can save a couple bucks, I want to save a couple bucks. But at the end of the day, we needed some type of a laugh. Okay. So there was times throughout the entire 2.5 weeks where he was perishing on us, that I was making jokes. I don't know how to deal with things without making a joke. I don't. I'm not a comedian by any means. I would never say that I'm funny, but I know when to throw something in, and I know when it's inappropriate, and I know when it could make a laugh. But I'm not smart enough to be a comedian. I'm not smart enough or educated enough or have a good enough vocabulary to be a comedian. But in times of desperate need, little nuggets come into my brain. I throw them out, and they seem to land pretty well. But they finally come out with the gurney. He takes his last breath, and we put him up on the bed, and we ended up saving the $250. We ended up saying goodbye to Barry, and then my wife went and picked him up. We got like a wooden box with his ashes in it. We got a little like foamy thing. It's like a sponge almost that they actually took his paw print. And of course, my sister was right. There was more tears. There was more tears when he came home. Not as many tears, though. It was less. There are less tears today for me. My wife is still, I think, in the middle of it. But, this whole thing was so hard and the feelings came out of left field for me. I had no idea. I had no idea, right? So for that reason alone, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't go to work on Monday. I was so destroyed. Even like just feeding Archer in the morning, I couldn't stop sobbing. The morning was my favorite part of the day with both of them. And Barry was always the most like rewarding, I could never get Archer to do certain things for food except for like run around and, he was just excited to get a snack. But Barry did things on command, and I'm going to miss all this. But I wanted to say that, I have to eat my words today because I believe I said a couple years ago, whatever, not sure what podcast it was, but I had said, if your pet dies, you need to go to work. I don't understand. It's a pet. Yeah, I was 1,000% wrong in what I said, the way I felt, and the words that just came out of my mouth were incorrect. We have so much connection with these animals that it's almost worse than losing important humans in our life. I don't think I've ever cried that hard except for when my grandfather passed and I was 11. So for me to sit there and say that you need to go to work and when a pet dies, it's absolutely, no, I was wrong. I was wrong. And I am willing to admit when I'm wrong, and I'm willing to pivot on the things that I said or believed in years ago. And so for that reason, I'm doing that today. And for all of you out there who have pets, who are acquiring pets and who, are dealing with the situation that I just dealt with, they mean way more to us than I ever thought. And I really, really wanted everybody to know that, I was wrong. I was wrong. And I am admitting my fault, like I always do, because lying leads back to drinking, everybody. And, I couldn't sit by and I couldn't stand by what I had said in the past. I just couldn't. I was absolutely, completely wrong. And I don't even know if I mentioned it. When I looked up Barry and his size, 10 to 12 years. So when I said in my post that he died too early, I was actually wrong about that too. He actually died on time. I just only looked it up by Archer's weight and size. I never looked it up by Barry's weight and size. And I wish I had known that he had a happy life and he made it to the full extent of it, because I felt terrible that he died early. And then I found out he didn't. And we actually did give him a really, 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 really good life. And that dog was loved, cared for, and had nothing to do but eat or sleep, go out and play. So when I was sad about his life being cut short, and then realized that his life was exactly where it was supposed to be, that kind of changed a little bit of my feelings, because I was mad at myself at first. I thought I had done something wrong. And when I realized I didn't, I felt better, and I cried a little bit less. And the one thing that me and my wife both agreed upon was that we're not just going to go out and buy another dog right now. Because if you think about it, going out and getting a new dog would be awesome. But it's only filling a hole, okay? So this is the way I was thinking about it. And let me know if you think I'm wrong, or if maybe you had a better idea, or just interact with the podcast in general. It helps boost it in the algorithm. But I was like, you know what? I think we should hold off on getting another dog. As badly as I want to get one, I don't want the expectations for that dog to be, I want it to be Barry, right? I want any dog that I purchase right now to be Barry. And that's not fair to the new dog. So once these feelings fade away and I realize that, and I accept, because I'm still having trouble with it. It's only been a couple weeks by the time this come out. I think it's been 4. But at the end of the day, I don't want to have expectations that the new dog should be anything like Barry. The new dog is going to be completely different. It's going to be, he or she is going to be different from Barry and completely different from Archer. We are absolutely smothering Archer right now, too. That's the other thing we've been doing. So that's what's been going on with us. That's what I've been dealing with. But again, this is a 420 episode, everybody, and we need to be getting into some Topher's topics and theories. Yes, we're going to have some fun from here on out. It is for entertainment purposes only. So my first one here is investigators' narrow timeline of when it's believed someone has placed a baby in a Manchester pond. Okay, this just happened on March 25th to March 27th. They went down to, Pine Island Pond in Manchester, and they found an infant. Now, yesterday, there was a brand new article that popped up, and they are rewarding somebody with any information right now. And, of course, this is 2 weeks older now, but they were offering $2,500 for anybody who has any information on this infant that they found in a pond in Manchester, New Hampshire. This is crazy, everybody. What the is going on here?
We stand before you today to address a heartbreaking and concerning situation that occurred yesterday.
It's been about a week since the body of a newborn baby girl was found in Manchester's Pine Island Pond. As the investigation progresses, police are closer to pinpointing exactly when this happened.
We've been able to narrow down the timeline window to 2 days from 14 days. We believe the baby was placed in the water sometime between Tuesday, March 25th, and Thursday, March 27th, before she was found at approximately 4 p.m. on the 27th.
Police are still not releasing the cause of baby Jane Doe's death.
A thorough autopsy was conducted the next day, which revealed certain relevant information, and additional tests are ongoing. And we are still treating this case as a suspicious death investigation.
Former prosecutor Patricia LaFrance says situations like this aren't common, but they are serious.
It's very rare, I think. I think in the past there's only been a couple of cases that I've heard of in New Hampshire. If a person is charged with a crime like this, they don't willingly come forward. But if they do try to explain what happened, and they would potentially maybe provide information to the police to assist them, then perhaps, obviously, they may be able to reduce potential charges.
Oh my God. They don't deserve reduced charges. This is fucking just terrible, man. Just terrible. But at the end of the day, I hope it's found. And as of, right now, I don't know if it's still going on, but if you've got any information on this, throw the information at them, because if it gets them further in the case, you could get the $2,500 right now. Okay? Absolutely disgusting world we live in, everybody. And here's some more disgusting stuff for you. Photos show inside of New England house where a man A man, yes, says he was held captive for 20 years. I guess this guy broke out of this place. I want to know how this woman did this to him. It's wild, everybody. So, looks like it's just pictures that I have right here. Let me see if I can make these any bigger. Okay, there we go. And so I'm assuming those are the bedrooms upstairs. Look at those walls, man. Is that mold? Is that all black mold? Holy shit. This is the inside of a house, everybody. The inside. Oh my God. Really? Holy shit. I'm going to puke. I'm going to absolutely vomit. Oh my God, that's all black mold, everybody. Oh my God, that has to be black mold. Why is there a piece of plywood over the window? What a fucking mess, everybody. This is how some people live. Oh, that was weird. Oh my God, dude. Well, it looks like they had a dog at one point, and that looks pretty fresh. Oh my God, was there animals living in these conditions too? Oh God. Okay, my OCD is just. What is that? Is that a window? Is that a window lock? Broken side of the house? Oh my fucking Christ. There was an electrical fire? They just ripped it out of the friggin' wall? Well, wait a minute. Where did this room come from? And it was a stepmother that held him captive for 2 decades. So is this her room? Because this is like the cleanest thing ever. This looks normal. This looks completely normal to me, which is wild. How is the rest of the house? What's the word I'm looking for? Dilapidated like that. So why does this kitchen area look so reasonably decent? Oh, that's what it looks like from the outside? Jesus Christ, man. Oh, wow. They got trees growing in their gutters. 3 windows up front. All plywood. No silicone, no insulation, nothing. Just a piece of plywood on the inside of the house. Oh, my fucking Christ. This is crazy. Wow, dude. What the hell? Oh, my God. Where is his actual dungeon? Okay, that's a sliding lock. But what I wanted to see is where he is actually locked up. And you can see this whole door is charred. So maybe the guy set fire to something trying to escape. Oh my God, the whole thing. They had a giant fire in there. So maybe that's where the broken glass and the broken windows and everything else came from. They had a fire in the place. They put the fire out. Maybe deem the place unlivable. Ooh, look, this is down the stairs and now into the hallway. Oh my God, it looks like this has a key for showing. So this house was for sale? This is crazy, everybody. Yeah, they had a fire. This place was deemed unlivable. So would she move back in? Wow, everybody, wow. That is absolutely insane. Let me see if I can get any information whatsoever. Oh, this is the lady. That's the lady that had them all locked up. How did she subdue him? How? She must have been absolutely batshit crazy. But still no information on the fire and whether or not the dwelling was actually still livable. But, I mean, yeah, so she completely and absolutely overpowered this guy. And that's absolutely, positively disgusting, man. So gross. So gross. Oh, man. This is very surprising to me. Those conditions were completely and absolutely disgusting. And I guess I'm glad he got free. Because, I mean, 2 sandwiches and 2 bottles of water for 20 years, living in that. What did that place smell like, everybody? Do you ever look at some things and you're like, my God, that's disgusting? But then do you ever think, that smell must have been horrendous. The smell of mold is so gross, and that house was just covered in it. Absolutely crazy. All right. Boy allegedly left in car for hours on Martha's Vineyard dies. Babysitter is charged with manslaughter. Just, I mean, oh my God. You know, I don't understand how we forget about little babies in a car. Unreal, dude. I'm telling you, this world is wild.
We begin with a tragic update to the breaking news we first brought you last night on WBZ.
A Martha's Vineyard 2-year-old boy allegedly left alone in a car for hours has died. The boy's babysitter, Amy Cotton, is now charged with manslaughter.
She looks
Prosecutors
responsible.
say that Cotton was supposed to be babysitting the victim and a 1-year-old girl last Thursday, but instead of taking the kids inside her home, she allegedly left them in her car alone for hours. The Vineyard Gazette reports that the cause of death was hypothermia.
Also,
So it was too cold. It was too cold in the car for the kids. What? Usually it's the opposite. It was too hot. This was too cold. They were left to freeze. So what was she doing? So she was already facing charges of assault and battery on a child and reckless behavior before boy died from his injuries. All right, so this is what she did, everybody. Listen to this. All right, so they reviewed the footage from the Nest camera at Cotton's home and determined that she had left the children in her car for about 3 hours. She allegedly admitting to police that they were strapped in their car seats inside the SUV the entire time, everybody. So she was like, they're safe. They're in the car seat. They're fine. What's wrong with them? What's your problem? While she was cooking bacon and did some household chores. What? You couldn't bring the goddamn kids in the house while you did some chores? You're already beating the crap out of them. Why don't you just make them clean the house? What? She was remorseful at times. What a piece of shit, everybody. An absolute piece of shit. Now, these are the people that don't deserve to breathe, everybody. That's what these people are. They do not deserve to breathe. And I find it interesting that I don't know if it's a little bit more, but it definitely seems like women are starting to lose it as well. That's one of the reasons I brought these articles up, because it's the opposite of what we're used to. It's not men. It's women doing it. So it is true. You can do everything a man can do. So congratulations. Now, this one here is really disturbing as well. It's just the mindset I'm in right now. So, Marlboro, Massachusetts man charged after 96 dead animals found. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with people, right? What is wrong with these people, man? Make me so mad.
News here. A man from Marlboro is facing animal cruelty charges
Look
after
at these
investigators say they
conditions.
found 96 dead animals on property he was renting in Sturbridge. These are photos of that property. Police and the MSPCA say the dead animals included chickens, geese, pigs, ducks, and rabbits. Andrew Sebastiano is now being held without bail and will be back in court next week. Police say he had been arrested on animal cruelty charges before, back in 2021, and pled guilty.
How did he get more pets? Shouldn't there be a database, right, where you go to buy a pet and they pull up your name and there's a way to do a check to see if you've ever been convicted of animal cruelty or neglect? Does that not exist? How do we not have a thing in place for that? There needs to be something where if you are this abusive to animals, he should never be able to have another animal ever again. 96 dead. Did you see that? That wasn't a farm. That was a shitty backyard in Marlborough, Massachusetts, trying to pretend to be a farm. Absolutely crazy. Here's how to delete your personal data and genetic sample from 23andMe, everybody. All right. So I don't know if you heard it, but 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy, and now everybody is scrambling because your data, your DNA information that you sent that company that was supposed to be nice and safe could wind up in somebody else's hand as soon as this goes and is sold to whatever company has, I guess, the highest bid. But it is being recommended that you go on your 23andMe and delete your shit. Make it so that they can't keep it. Now, just because you delete the information, you maybe get rid of the account, whatever happens, your DNA sample is still there, isn't it? I just imagine our samples all sitting in like some giant fridge. I might be wrong. I don't know. But at the end of the day, what's to stop them from just deleting your account and then taking your DNA sample instead? Right? Because who's in the building just going, oh, Martha just deleted hers, throw that in the trash can. Oh, Michael just deleted his, throw that in the trash can. No, all you're deleting is the information. You're just deleting your account. Maybe it says, do you want your sample thrown away? You click the yes button. Do you know if it actually gets thrown away? I don't, but we need to do something because I used Ancestry. I really wanted to use 23andMe. I'm kind of glad I didn't now. Looks like Ancestry was the far superior one. Well, let's see what they have to say about this because everybody should be aware of it. And if you have 23andMe, it's time for you to take some action, get your DNA destroyed.
Genetic testing company 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy protection. The CEO has resigned. Nancy Chen today telling us what this means for nearly 15 million customers worldwide.
The DNA testing company 23andMe has been facing serious financial challenges for months now. Last fall, it announced major corporate restructuring, and that's when concerns of what could happen to users' data started surfacing. On Friday, the Attorney General of California, where 23andMe is headquartered, urged customers to request their information be purged. He says they should consider invoking their rights and directing the company to delete their data and destroy samples of their genetic material. He said if 23andMe were involved in a bankruptcy, merger, or sale, personal data may also be sold or transferred. 23andMe reports more than 15 million customers worldwide, so a lot of people impacted by this.
Yep.
The company, though, has seen a massive sell-off. Once worth $6 billion before the bankruptcy news, it had lost nearly 98% of its value. So here's what you need to do if you use 23andMe and want your data erased. Log into your account, go to Settings, scroll to 23andMe Data, click View, scroll to Delete Data, and click Permanently Delete Data. Then you will need to confirm when 23andMe sends you an email. That part's important. CBS News reached out to 23andMe about the Attorney General's statement. The company's spokesperson told us they remain committed to our customers' privacy and strong customer privacy protections remain in place, adding customers always have the option to delete their account at any time. 23andMe confirmed following those steps we just outlined will permanently delete your data and genetic samples will be destroyed, which has been a big concern.
So there you have it, everybody. My skepticism, I don't know if anybody's actually picking out your DNA and throwing it away. They say they're going to, right? Your privacy is very important to them. But have you ever worked a job that you like or dislike and you're going on vacation and what suffers the most? Your job. Because you're in vacation mode. You don't care. I'm out of here. You know, if I didn't finish this or set something up, that's all right. It'll fall on everybody else. I'm on vacation. Well, these guys are in bankruptcy. So what do they care if you just said to permanently delete my DNA sample? What do they care? They're basically in vacation mode. They're not even going to be working there soon. Whoever the new owner of the company is, they might just lose their job. So at the end of the day, does anybody really have to be held accountable to throw your DNA out? This is really, really worrisome. And I'm sorry if I made you a little bit more worried and you've already deleted your shit. But keep it in mind, everybody. Are we actually watching them throw our DNA away? You're not. So unless they send a video recording of them walking into the fridge, grabbing your sample and throwing it into the trash, do you actually know if your sample has been thrown out even though you just requested it all to be destroyed? That's all I'm saying. How do we get proof of that? So right now we've prehistoric hell ant found frozen inside of amber fossil devouring its prey. What? We got killer hornets? Was that the killer wasp or whatever it was? That giant thing that we were trying to eradicate came from like Africa or something. It was literally destroying honeybee nests or something. Now there's a hell ant. What is a hell ant? Hell ants have been found in amber fossils before. This is the first time humans have seen how these extinct insects fed. So this thing was in the middle of feeding on another insect before it was fossilized in this amber. Now, I'll show you the picture. I'm really hoping for a video here, but so this is the ant here, and then this is some other creature that it is gnawing on. Now, they're saying that this is a 99 million year old fossilized amber specimen of an extinct ant species captured while devouring its prey. Okay, so they actually x-rayed it. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. So I think this skinny, creepy fucking thing with the stinger at the end of it is the hell ant. And it is devouring some other type of bug. But man, it's creepy. It's got like an antenna off the center of its head. It's got a stinger in the rear end. An ant with a stinger? Dude, I am... So, I was a little bit wrong. It seems like... Oh, look at that. So these are the hell ants we've seen in the past. They have like a nasty, like, almost like fangy front. And it looks like the piece on the top of the head that's coming out is like you know what I mean? Like let's say like a grip, you know? So you got the thing up at the top, and that's where the bug's head would land, stopping it from getting away, and then it closes its jaw and sticks those pieces through the neck of it, killing it, and then it just eats it right there. But I've never heard of a hell ant. I've never seen anything like this. I think that we're going to be in a lot of trouble because we all watched Jurassic Park, right? So if there is any liquid DNA inside of that thing, they can stick a needle in there. They can extract it. And I don't know what they can do with it after that. But if we are anywhere as advanced as Jurassic Park was supposed to be, we are capable of pulling that DNA and possibly bringing this species back to life. Now, I know that sounds crazy and insane. We possibly could do something like that today. It would be absolutely wild. They've been talking about bringing velociraptors back and this back, and they have all kinds of DNA samples of stuff that they found, and I don't know how much of it's actually true. I don't know what they could actually bring back. But it does look like a specimen like this that has been basically saved or frozen in time. It's possible that inside of that amber, that ant still has all of its bodily fluids and some DNA footprint in there. So we might be capable of bringing this species back to life. Now, these species have been dead for a long time. Viruses that we no longer deal with have been suppressed under ice. Well, what if, in the long run, the ice melts and these viruses get out? What if, I don't know, something that was frozen in time thaws and comes back to life like Encino Man? I think we'd be in a world of trouble, because if a virus or some type of disease that is suppressed under the ice escapes and we've never dealt with it before, it could be devastating. But I think the same about these prehistoric animals. Bringing back the woolly mammoth, don't do that. Don't bring back anything that's extinct. I just think it would be bad. But these are super creepy, and I've never heard of a hell ant before. So now, delivery drones tested in Massachusetts in an effort to reduce traffic. So now we're just going to have drones flying around delivering my packages. Well, I don't know how I feel about this, but I hope it does a little bit better job than some of the delivery drivers that have delivered the packages to my house. Let's check it out.
This has the potential to revolutionize medicine delivery in Boston.
Now we know we've got your attention. MassDOT announced today that it's spent months testing out medical deliveries using drones. As WBZ's Mike Sullivan tells us,
medical
cool,
only right
but
now.
There's still some hurdles to clear before the drones can
that
take
might be
off.
good. That might be
Boston
good.
traffic. It's as unavoidable as death and taxes. Yet MassDOT is taking a new
Still not as bad as California.
To move cars from the road, putting packages in the air, revolutionizing drone delivery in the Bay State.
For every 1% of deliveries that are made to an arrive point, that takes 3,000 trucks off the road here in the U.S.
Dan O'Toole is the CEO of Arrive AI, an Indiana company that's partnered with MassDOT on a case study, delivering medical supplies by drone to locations in Lynn.
Everyone gets multiple deliveries from different deals every single day. So somebody to coordinate all that, that's what you need. That's where we are.
Arrive AI is like the air traffic controller. They don't create the drones or robots. They facilitate how they get there. A drone or robot will bring a package to your doorstep and drop it in a box. Once it's in there, the box will lock and send a notification to the recipient and the sender.
Every day there's 1.7 million packages stolen in the U.S. What if you could disrupt that by just safeguarding these items, right?
This type of out-of-the-box thinking isn't new for the city. Additional bike lanes are popping up. Moped drivers whiz by with food deliveries. This is the latest step to help ease congestion by getting delivery cars off the road.
We're kind of there already. It's just acceptance, getting all the rules and regulations in place, the flight paths, all those things.
Right now, their case study with MassDOT is for handling last-mile deliveries of 10 pounds or less.
Drone delivery specifically, or robotic delivery, really can transcend every use case, because 91% of all deliveries are 5 pounds or less.
The boxes would work as a subscription service. O'Toole saying over time, if usage expands, the cost could be free. In Boston, I'm Mike Sullivan, WBZ News.
Wow, everybody, that's wild, but they're right. So 1% of the deliveries done by drones takes 3,000 trucks off the road. And if you can deter thieves from stealing your medical packages, well, that's a giant leap, because that's probably what they're looking for the most, is these drugs that they're pretty much unattainable, or they're just so expensive that, like, they need a safe place to be if you're not home to pick it up. Now, you're going to have to put one of these boxes, like a mailbox in the neighborhood that everybody walks to. Is this going to be in a park? Does everybody get one at their house? Where are you putting it? Because, that would be amazing to just have this happen. I mean, you put a box in your backyard and, you order something and a little drone shows up, puts it in the box. Nobody can steal it. I mean, I put mine in the backyard. You know what I mean? So be completely off the street. But it sounds like a great idea. And if you could get enough people to jump on board or get enough deliveries to actually make this a free service, might actually be beneficial. less packages stolen, more people actually getting what they pay for, less headaches on, dealing with lost packages and stolen packages, So I think overall this would be a beneficial thing to have happen, but also very interesting world we live in where our packages will be delivered by drone. I mean, they've been working on it. They've been talking about huge warehouses where only drones deliver for Amazon. So this is something that has been in the works for quite some time. It just seems like this medical company jumped on it early, which is nice. I mean, the medical supplies are probably the most important things. My soap and my supplements showing up by drone or not getting stolen by somebody, probably not as important right now. But, I mean, pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, so video world first side-flipping humanoid robot unleashed by China. Here we go again. We're side-flipping, we're riding bikes, we're ninja kicking, we're doing all kinds of things, and I don't think any of these robots need to be doing any of this stuff right now. So let's see the robot do a side flip. Like I keep saying, man, these things are getting out of hand. I don't know why they need to do this. Why do they need to be able to side flip? Why do they need to be able to ride bicycles? I don't know. Maybe all the scientists out there just find this super entertaining and they want to see how far their humanoid can go. I think it's too much. I think it's too much. They don't need to do this shit. We're turning them into little soldiers. I don't want to fight humanoids. I just don't. They're metal. I can't hurt them. I'm not going to be able to armbar this thing. It's probably going to be able to armbar me. Like, it's crazy. I'll be really worried the day that these robots can do jujitsu. You know what I mean, dude? Oh my God. Could you imagine a black belt humanoid? It would happen in 30 seconds. You just program it to be a black belt and it steps on the mat and that's it. It's a black belt. I'll be jealous. Like, plug me in, give me the info. But now we have a G1 Nails world's first kick up, dude. It's just crazy what these things are capable of doing right now. Let's check this out real quick. So it's going to lay down on its back, and this is hard for a human to do, everybody. He flips himself up. Like, without an issue. Now watch. She's going to make a move. Boom, boom, boom. And the humanoid is making the same amount of moves with ease, man. Look at that. Set up and executed effortlessly. Look at this thing. Oh, my God. It's doing Tai Chi. Tai Chi? Come on. Real time at normal speed. Puts weight on it. It rolls over and gets up. I mean, we're teaching it all of our moves. And one day, it's going to use these moves against us. This robot will remember that kick in the back. The day this thing gets unleashed, this Unitree one is probably one of the most impressive ones I've seen. It seems to be the one that keeps popping up over and over and over again. And this is the one I believe is riding the bikes and doing the ninja kicking. And so this one humanoid is doing so much. And yeah, it's just one humanoid, but it's all being programmed into the one AI. So even if they come up with a Unitree Model 2, that AI gets downloaded into that. Now it knows everything that the Uni 1 knew. And now it can probably do more. You know what I mean? Being the second version, its mobility gets better, this gets better, everything gets better. And then it gets downloaded all the same information that the first humanoid had. On day one, it's already a far superior humanoid. That's how this is going to escalate. When does it get to the point where this thing realizes that it can just make it itself, and it just starts making itself? And then we're on Model 5, but it was designed by the AI, built by the AI for the humanoid. Like, what? Like, when is that going to happen? I'm telling you, there is going to be a moment in time where this AI starts doing shit on its own. And I know that means it's gone autonomous and we are in a different world at that point. But man, it's crazy to see these things doing these things and to think about where it could go. Are you fucking kidding me? Tesla's changing tires? You can't take my job from me. Oh my God. We're all doomed, everybody. We are all doomed. And here is something that is completely and absolutely freaky. This is nuts. You want to talk about something that shouldn't be done? You want to talk about a wacky world we're living in? Well, how about ice cream made out of plastic? What am I even saying? Is these real words coming out of my mouth at this moment in time? Yes, it is. Check this out. I don't know why these people are doing this, but they are. So, who eating ice cream made from plastic? They want us eating more plastic. Scientists have tried to figure out how to use plastic. What do you mean how to use it? You can't use it for food. It's already bad enough that we maybe approximately eat a credit card a week, just in everything else we consume. Now you're actually going to take the plastic, break it down, and serve it to me cold?
Have tried to figure out how to use plastic in unique ways to help reduce global pollution. One team has broken down plastic waste and turned it into a molecule that tastes a little vanilla-ish. How one artist now uses the product to make ice cream.
That's Magnum ice cream, everybody. What? Are you kidding me? This is insane. Whoa, why are we making ice cream out of plastic? We should not be making any food out of plastic. If you want to get rid of the plastic, find something to utilize the plastic. Like, don't make it something edible. That's insane. The consumption of plastic is what is hurting all of us. So you can't take plastic, melt it down, and say, hey, it tastes like vanilla. Ew. Ew. What are we talking about? This is insane. This is absolutely insane. So don't buy that ice cream and make sure whatever you're eating is not made from plastic. Where is that on the ingredients list? Like, they should have showed the back of that packaging and highlighted the ingredient that they were covering up with some other name or something, or maybe they called it something, and that was the ingredient plastic. Like, I feel like that's what they should have done with this video. But that is insane, bro. We can't be eating more plastic. You disgusting, disgusting people. Never buy Magnum ice cream. That's where I'm at. Nope, not doing it. So, experiment with drawing plasma from the air using a Tesla coil. Super, super cool, man. This is just another example of how we could have had free power. Nikola Tesla, he was on to something. I don't know if he died from old age. I want to believe he was taken out. But again, another person that was trying to give the world free power. Whenever you try to fucking take away their money, man, people die. Check this out, though. It's really cool. Okay, so you can see right here is the Tesla coil, and he's going to put his syringe up to it. It looks like there's a nail in the tip of the syringe, and when he pulls back on it, you just see the thing glowing. Glowing so bright. I guess that's plasma. This may not be a solid nail. Maybe it's a hollow nail so it can pull in the air, but I've never seen like a flat needle head on a syringe. But now he's touching the plasma and moving it up and down because the plasma is reacting with his skin and body. That is crazy, dude. So there was ways to pull energy out of the Tesla coil so that we could have eventually or benefited from some type of free power. And I do believe that's why this man died. I don't care. Tell me I'm wrong. It's fine. Now, the pyramids were supposedly a power modular center. I don't know what you call it, but it seems like with these new x-rays or sonograms or whatever they're doing to look underneath the ground, right? And we're finding all these hidden cities, like underneath the Amazon and stuff. You know, we found, oh, look, that this is mapped out like a square, and then there's paths and there's a circle. And so it looks like we had an ancient civilization that the earth swallowed right here. Yeah, the Tartarians, everybody, they were everywhere. They were everywhere. Get into the Book of Enoch, man. This is getting wild. And it seems like the proof is out there. And they just throw enough on it to call it conspiracy so that people will shove it off as a conspiracy. But I don't believe these things to be conspiracies. I think this is possibly closer to the truth. But I guess when they took the scan of the pyramids, and when they saw it, supposedly there was these pillars that went down. They said meters. I think that's like miles. I don't know. But they're super, super long. They're conductive. They stop at a cement block at the bottom of the pyramid. And then the pyramid has these conductors inside of it. So this is supposedly a way to get electricity. They were actually pulling it from the ground. Now, there's been many videos of people putting a stick into the grass, right, the dirt, running a wire to a piece of metal, putting two empty Coke cans or something on a piece of metal, dropping the metal on top of both of them with a little metal string or wire with a aluminum ball on the bottom of it, and it would conduct the power and bounce the aluminum ball from can to can, drawing power from the earth itself. So why am I paying a delivery charge? Right? Like, this is why they don't want us to find this stuff out. This is why they they suppress it. This is why they call it conspiracy. Because if they were actually to say that this could happen, then we would all figure out how to get free power. If we all have free power, they lose all their money, right? And what if the pyramids were a conductor? What if they were a place that threw power? They had lights inside these things. And I'm telling you right now, I believe that all of these things that exist did not exist by the Mayans. It's not the Egyptians. It's not the pharaohs. It's not any of it. I think they walked upon this shit. I think they stumbled upon it. I believe this all started with the Tartarians, this ancient civilization that we have no idea where it is or where it went. But man, they left a lot of shit behind that nobody can explain. You know? We can't explain how these things were done. Yeah, sure, there's ideas, blah, blah, blah. But check this out, man. It looks really neat. I'm not sure how true it is, but you can see the pyramid on top, the conductors in the bottom of the pyramid, and then these long protruding poles that had staircases. I do believe you could go down to the bottom of this, which I would never want to do ever in my life. I don't like being in an enclosed space. But you could, supposedly these things were just drawing power, giving the pyramids power, and they would jump the power from pyramid to pyramid because they were all conductors, and that's how they got their energy. That's how they got their power. Why? Because they actually utilized the earth. They utilized the earth. Pretty crazy though, man. But now everybody's starting to say that this is not real. So, you tell me, are the scans real or not? I think they're real. I think they're telling me that they're not real so they can keep this narrative of the only way to get power is from nuclear power, and you have to have power lines, and you got to pay a delivery charge. It's the only way this can happen, everybody. That's it. Pay no attention to any. This is all fake. This is all fake. There's no way this was real. Yeah, okay. Why? because you lose money? Check out this. I don't know how actually real this can be, but supposedly a Japanese doctors found a drug to regrow teeth. To regrow teeth dentures may be history. What? What are we even talking about right here? So, image regrowing your teeth like a sci-fi movie plot, except it's real. It's happening in Japan. Dr. Kazu Takasashi, an oral surgeon from Kitano Hospital in Okisha, is leading the charge. His team discovered the humans had dormant teeth buds. What is a tooth bud? A third set of teeth that never sprout. The secret, a protein called USAG1, keeps them asleep. By creating an antibody drug to block it, they've tricked the body into growing new teeth. First in mice, then in ferrets, now in humans. What? Let's see what the second page is.
Flew all the way to Japan to find the only drug in the world that can regrow your teeth. This is Torgem Biopharma, founded by these 3 doctors who are changing the world one tooth at a time. Teeth are so much more important than you think. Yes, you eat with your teeth, but having unhealthy teeth actually can increase your chances of heart disease, diabetes, and dementia. And 69% of adults lose at least one tooth because of tooth decay or disease. But not anymore, because these 3 doctors discovered something life-changing. They discovered a protein in our bodies called USAG1. This protein basically prevents your body from growing teeth. But then they realized that if you can block this protein, something amazing happens. New teeth will grow in your mouth in the exact place you lost your old tooth. They first tested it on mice, and it worked. I saw it with my own eyes.
So you can see the teeth, right?
Yes, that's crazy.
Whoa.
So from 2 injections.
All right, everybody. So that is wild, okay? Now there's a possibility of 3 sets of teeth in your mouth. The body only grows 2, but if we inject you with some shit, we're going to activate the 3rd one. Now, here is my question, because when I was a child, I had 3 sets of front teeth. So does that mean if I lose my front teeth, I'm all done? Because I already had 3 sets. I had my baby teeth. Then they had to go in and extract what they called bones. And then my adult teeth dropped. So do I have a 4th set behind that adult set? Or was the first set that they extracted as bones my actual adult teeth? And then the set that grew in as my adult teeth were actually my 3rd set of teeth. And now my front teeth are all done. I don't know, but man, it got me thinking. I was like, oh shit, I already had 3 sets. I'm all done. Better not lose my front teeth, I said. That's crazy, right? I mean, regrowing teeth, that would be wild. Fuck the dentist. You know what I'm saying? Screw you, buddy. I'm not going into the dentist. I'm just going to inject myself and grow a new set of teeth. Fuck your dentures, fuck your bills, and fuck your cleanings. I'm just going to regrow my teeth. Like, that would be wild, man. Everybody just be like getting injections at home. You get the package, shows up like your testosterone injections, and you just sit there and inject your gums, and all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, you got a little tooth poking out. Dude, what are we even talking about? This is crazy town. But this is the world we live in today. And as always, I just want to say thank you to everybody for supporting the podcast for all these years. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember, if you're new, subscribe, all right? You want an opportunity to be a guest to tell your story? talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. That's the official email of the podcast. Send an audio, video, or type it out. And then, of course, don't forget about the link tree. It's in the description below the video. And that's where every link to everything discussed on today's podcast is also hiding. So go check out these people's videos, share them around. With that all being said, I hope everybody out there has an amazing Thursday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you later.